Pennies Going in Raw is a production of iHeartRadio. The opinions expressed in the following podcast are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security or investment product. It is only intended to provide education and entertainment about the financial industry and the stock market. Enjoy!
On this episode of Pennies Going in Raw, we go over some Peloton news, Hugh's Facebook thesis, and some more Q&A.
You find out life's this game of pennies.
Oh, you guys know we only have a 40% runner. Hello, 40% is a fucking killing.
We've been compliant for too long. It's time we go to war.
I don't have a Roth.
Hugh knows so much about the market that his brain doesn't have enough room for grammar.
Hey, who told me about IDEX? It's going up a shit ton now.
Rob, 4%, baby. No way. 4 fucking percent.
You asked the exact same question with 2 words different.
It's like, man, I just got dick whipped for like 20%, and now that f***er's up like 50.
I bet Warren Buffett never did that.
I'm just making this voice memo to call out unusual whales to a fight.
The pennies we need are everywhere around us.
Pennies.
Going in Raw.
Featuring Dan, Deity of Dips,
And Hugh, honey.
Produced by Vinny.
And Christian.
Let's go, baby.
Welcome back to another episode of Pennies Going in Raw. Today is Wednesday, February the 9th. And I mean, if there's any week and time, month, whatever, to learn how to play options or SPY options or trade range on these large caps, I mean, we've been talking about it, but I think the more time goes on, I mean, I think you really need to be taking advantage on it as a new trader, just because if you don't think $125 in your account is too much to lose to learn something, I mean, buying some of these same day or next day SPY options with these moves, if you see a major pop and you've seen it day in and day out, you think it's going to drop, I think it's time to get your feet wet a little bit. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I do think definitely. I also think that the volatility hasn't been great right now on SPY, but I think after Thursday's CPI data that should change. So I'm personally excited. And I think that, as you were saying, is that, you know, you can get a good return on that. You can get a good return on this range, even though it's not a lot of range right now. And like I said, I do believe that's going to pick up. Even the end of the day on Tuesday, I was able to scalp for 15% on like a 0.5% move. Now, I don't want anyone thinking that we're doing like 0-day options. Like I'm not. I'm taking three week out options, and of course, you know, all this is going to depend on what the delt is, how far out of the money.
It's a good time to learn the same day SPY options now too. I think if there's ever a time, I mean, like honestly, if you're just doing around $4 away, I mean, you're seeing those moves, and even if it doesn't get close, I mean, you're seeing these 50 to 70% moves on these $2 SPY dips that seem to happen 2-3 times a day, if not more.
Yeah, so the only thing with the 0-day options is that the massive swing in P&L. Listen, if you're new to
that's
options,
what I'm saying. The one contract, and like even today as we record this, that's what I was saying. Like $125 is sometimes around half of some of these 1-day out or 3-day outs, whatever. Like today, Tuesday, we record this. You know, obviously we're trading ones that expire tomorrow, and I mean, you look at when it hits 450, you know, the 464s for tomorrow are only, you know, $1.09 or something, and they go up to $1.60 just off a quick $2 dip that you see time in and time out, time in and time out. Yeah, whatever the hell it is, you see it a lot, and that's like a 50% gain. I mean, I think, you know, even with that lower amount of shares, and, you know, as long as you don't get sucked in, hey, I'm doing it with 1 share, maybe I'll do it with 5, maybe I'll do it with 10. You know, as long as you don't screw yourself over like that, get sucked into the fun, I think it's, you know, a good learning experience, especially with all the range you're seeing now.
Yeah, so the one thing that I'll say about that is that if you're very new to trading and very new to options, yeah, hell yeah. Take these 0-day options, like Dan was saying, with a contract so that you can see how much these things move without the underlying equity, being the market, moving that much.
Expire.
Yeah, don't let them expire. And I think that'd be really healthy. But if you're like a more experienced trader, and when I say more experienced, like maybe you have a strategy or two inside your belt and you feel really confident about that strategy. But you're looking to like kind of add something out. Take something with like 50 or less delt and take like less than 2 or 3% out of the money. In fact, keep it.
So I mean, you're talking to newer options traders. Let's kind of get to basic. What is 50 or lower delt to these new guys?
Yeah, so that's how so that's how much the option will move based on the underlying equity. So for instance, something that is really about to expire, not worthless, but let's just say it's about to expire. Let's say we're trading on a Thursday and it's about to expire Friday. That's going to have like a higher delt because
it's going to move a lot based off of how much the stock moves a lot more,
Yeah. And so on top of that, you have the decay. Like there's tons of stuff.
But how do they check if the below 50 delt? How can they check the amount?
Well, I mean, your broker. It'll be on your broker. So the way that I like to do it through Thinkorswim, and I just sift through and at this point, you kind of get like a feel of like which one. So I always go for, no matter where SPY is at or the QQQ is at, I take pretty much a 2 or 3 weeks out of the money call or put, and it's usually about three, maybe $3.50 out of the money. So on SPY, if it's at 450, I'm usually taking like a 453. So it's nothing out of like the end goal is for it to get in the money. But let's just say that I have the way that this is all the way that I handle it. If the resistance line is at 455, I'll usually take the 454s so that it'll get pretty close to in the money, or it'll get in the money, and that's pretty much what I'm selling. But you don't necessarily want to take just like already in the money calls because they won't move as much. Like you still want it to run into the money, and that's the way that I do. Now, if you're expecting like a big move, so let's take like Peloton. If you're trying to short Peloton, but you aren't confident enough inside the equities, so you take it, but you want to take some risk on, you can take super, and this is stuff that I do, you can take super out of the money options on let's take Peloton. Peloton was up huge. It's up 55% inside the last 5 days. You could take end of the week expiring options as a lotto for like 3 cents, 5 cents. And sometimes you can make like 1,000%. And that also limits your risk because it's based on the amount of risk, or it's based on the amount of money that you put into the option, if that makes sense. So as long as you're not like going crazy averaging down, if you want to risk $3,000 to potentially make like 15 grand or 10 grand, then you can do that. And also what your risk is. So if you're the type of person who like you don't really like taking shorts on equity because you're too afraid, this at least gives you a chance so that how much you're going to lose.
I like how we both trade SPY options, but totally differently. Like I love
totally
doing
differently.
The same and next day, like on the pops and the pops and drops, man. That's how I like playing them. When you're playing them 2-3 weeks out or whatever, I mean they get a little pricey. They get a little more scary.
They get pricey, but that's one of those things where like I'm okay if the SPY goes against me 0.5% because maybe it drops like 6%, but that's it. Like I'm not getting like those wild like 40-50% drops. Like that would oh my god, that would
no, I mean you gotta play them with risk. I mean for my later, like my further out calls, I do have some late March 480s up decent amount on them, not to brag. I listen to PGIR. I got a little thesis on me.
Yeah, all right, baby.
So I saw you tweet about your Facebook thesis today, and I I may have a rebuttal for it. Do you want to kind of give your Facebook thesis, as I think you said, if it dips another like $20?
Yeah. So overall, I'll give like the 10,000 foot view. From the one side of things, Facebook was up 100% in 2 years. A lot of things were, but Facebook went from like $150 to like $380. So over 100% in 2 years. So it's probably due for a little pullback ski, if you know what I'm saying. That's the one side of things. The other side of things is that this thing was at 383 and now it's at 217. That's nuts. I mean, in the last like 5 days, everybody knows that it's been demolished. Now, from a psychological standpoint, I don't like 200 because I personally feel that if the market continues, and Facebook specifically, the selling pressure that it has, which the selling pressure on Facebook has been nuts. Like, there have been millionaires made on Facebook this week. That is a fact. Like, somebody got stupid rich, and somebody maybe they didn't have the best risk, and it's just like, hey, Facebook went down yesterday. Like, I think this thing's going to like 100, and they probably made a fuck ton. Props to them. But from a psychological standpoint, I think 200 is a big test. I think 200 gives really good risk to reward. But I don't think it just gets to 200 and bounces. In fact, I think it needs to flush underneath 200. And actually, it might even need to go below 200 for a little bit and consolidate under there. Like, it might need to consolidate underneath 200 for a little bit to then start to curl back up. What we saw was this massive, if you look on the 2 year like weekly chart, you saw this massive fucking explosion to the upside on Facebook over the last 2 years. And now that's basically been cut in half. Almost cut in half. Like, what was it? Like 175 will like effectively cut it in half from all-time highs. So if you look at like a chart, it's like, whoop, comes back down halfway, and then it consolidates, and then it will make a slow grind back up. That's the way that I see it. Now, from a fundamental standpoint, there's still a $600 billion company. That's a lot.
Yeah, well, I don't think you're looking at, I've always been more of a fundamental guy than you, obviously.
Naturally.
So I think what you're missing from the fundamental standpoint, obviously that they lost over $8 billion in the whole metaverse, like just bullshitting, and then $3 billion in the Oculus sales. Okay, no big deal, whatever. But this is the first time that Facebook has ever reported lower users.
Yeah,
so
but we
decline of
knew,
Facebook,
bro.
Because now but look,
get the fuck out.
The newer generation, the first thing they go to is TikTok. Over the past few years, their gain of users has come from more of like the Mid-Eastern areas. Okay. But now they're not going on Facebook to start off their social media experience. It may be time if the metaverse doesn't pop off relatively soon / Oculus, but mainly Oculus, what we're referring to. Could it be on the big downtrend for Meta, kind of like Microsoft was in 2000 whatever?
Okay, there's about 2.5 billion monthly active users of Facebook. 2.5 billion. They're still an advertising company. Okay. They still make tons from advertising. Hell, selling our data, they make tons from. Like that, from that, the way that I look at their business model is that is like their lemonade stand. It's never, ever going to make them be an innovative company again, but it's that consistent cash flow, baby. Okay. There is still tons
get less
of
consistent.
And we knew that was going to happen. How often do you go on Facebook? I before PGIR, I didn't have a Facebook. Like, this is like, Facebook's been dead to me. Facebook's been dead to me before it started. But it still is.
I got my start on Facebook, man.
Yeah, but you're old,
That's fair compared
2.5 billion people monthly are like, I love my Facebook. Let me check it. And we all know how
that
addictive.
Doesn't mean they love it. That just means
No,
they
they
click
love
on
it.
their
They love
fucking
it.
Facebook
No, they
app.
love it. They love it. But my point is that I look at their ads revenue as purely like the lemonade stand, consistent cash flow. Okay. And even if that number gets cut in half in the next month, fine, fuck it, cut it in half in the next month. It's still 1 billion monthly users.
All right, man. Well, all I'm saying is,
I'm not done with you. I'm not done with you. No, I'm not done with you.
Maybe
okay?
a good trade on your part, but look, man, it's going downhill.
No, I'm not done with you. I'm not done with
signaling
you.
the death of Facebook.
No, I'm not done with you yet, okay? So even if you cut it in half, they still have 1 billion monthly users. Then, on top of that, the 8 to 10 billion that they just spent on the metaverse, I totally agree that that's a gamble, okay? To me, right now, This is the metaverse is a gamble, and they don't have much to show for it. But that being said, in 30 years, they might have something insane to show for it. They're
of course.
innovating. They're basically okay. Let's take it like this. The way that I look at them is like when Amazon morphed from a book company to a online fucking everything company. That's the way that I look at this.
Yeah,
it's
but everyone's gonna hop in the metaverse. Yeah, for sure.
I don't necessarily know that. Like I said, I don't know that. Like I'm not gonna become I'm not opening up like a fund and gonna sit out there and buy Facebook on every
Just
day.
everyone associates Meta with fucking
just like Band-Aid.
the metaverse. They're like, yo, dude, I mean, great fucking thinking. We'll just steal the name Meta before everyone else knows the metaverse is coming soon. Real fucking clever, Mark Zuckerberg.
But I do think that the 10 billion, I think that it was sloppy on their part not to show anything for it, but I get it. I do get it. I understand. You want to keep it quiet until you have something substantial, but 10 billion is a big fucking number. And then like you said, Oculus Oculus still made what, 3 billion you said?
No, lost 3 billion.
Lost 3 billion. Yeah, but here's the thing is that you and I, who I'm gonna call ourselves better off than the average person, we have Oculus devices. Okay?
I bought one for my brother and concierge. One of the concierge at my building.
That's so nice. See, that's nice. But see, that's my point. Is that we're not at the stage yet with Oculus to where
I like how the new one got cheaper. Like the ones
Mine was expensive.
Dude, no, the black one, the one that we bought whenever we got ours was we
like
paid
$400.
Like no, dude, I paid like fucking 800 and and then the new white one is only 400 or even like 300.
What the hell?
Yeah,
Jesus.
It's mad cheaper. That's what I was like. This one's a lot more. I mean, it's the same price as like a console, you know.
When college kids start getting into the Oculus, and I'm saying like when you start to see it like 3D tours, like come see what it's like at chess club, and then you put the Oculus on, it's like you see chess club, like that's where I think Oculus blows up. Also, I don't like wearing the headset thing. Like, I think that's a little annoying. Also, I don't like that, like, I can't see through it. Like, I wish, like, I could press a button to see through it. Like, I still think that they...
You can. You just didn't use yours enough to figure that button out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Shit, I didn't even know that. All right. See, that would have been... No, I remember that. It wasn't that good.
Like, whenever you, are configuring it or whatever.
Yeah. That wasn't good. That was terrible.
We're in like the very first stages of VR, man. You got to give it some time.
That's what I'm saying. So like, I'm okay with Facebook making these innovations. Personally, I just wish that they didn't spend so much damn money. But that being said, like, honestly, like if I was like a fund manager, I probably would buy like a sliver of Facebook down here and just hold it. Like, if the market cap gets underneath 500 billion,
I'd hold it for a quick trade, but we'll see whose thesis is right in a few years from now, bud.
Damn fucking Skippy. Also, wait, one thing that I saw on Twitter today, Melvin Capital bought $1 billion of Facebook in Q4.
Respect.
Dude, they're down like 25% now.
Respect.
That blows, man. Melvin, man, has been hit hard inside the past 16 years.
Michael Burrows down 20% at one point too, dude. Look how he turned out.
Yeah, but that's different. Melvin needs I think Unusual Whales tweet that Melvin needs 95% return right now to get back to break even.
I'm starting to think Unusual Whales doesn't like the big guys. Just a hint. Inside info I got on them.
What do we got next?
Q&A. All right, so the first one is wondering why he has a big urge to buy out of the money March calls for all of the big FinTwitch swings that didn't turn out well. I actually I like this question a lot. I mean, you see how down a lot of them are. I'm saying Wish, BBIG, SOS, even some of the Bitcoin ones. Is he crazy? Am I crazy?
Yeah.
For March, you think even for March, you don't see any reversal for any of these anytime soon?
I actually been getting this question a lot, and what
has changed for the nothing's changed. The price is down a fuck ton though. I mean, if you manage your risk with some options, I'd love it.
Listen, you want to take 10% of your account.
Whoa, not 10%. I'm not. I would never trust 10% of my account in Wish ever again. Let's get that fucking straight right off top.
Okay, listen. If you want to take 5% of your account and you want to put it across the board, not on March options. Listen, the biggest thing with options, not only do you have to nail the direction, but you have to nail the timing. Give yourself some time. Hell, go for January of next year leaps. Because here's the thing.
I have some for them too, dude. I'm up 80% on some $3.50 June Wish options, man. We don't got to talk about it neither.
Yeah, no, but that's what I mean is that listen, you want to take a small percentage of your account, but give yourself the time. I wouldn't go with March. Hell, I wouldn't go with anything until the end of Q2. Because in my personal opinion, growth, the things that didn't work out, some of them are going to stick out like a sore thumb over the next few months, and some of them are going to continue to die. The ones that are going to continue to die, at the end of the day, it's going to be like you have growth, then you have the speculative growth inside the growth. And I think that right now what we're going to see is that although we're going to see a turn in growth, it's only going to be really good value names that are making money, names that have a true chance. I think the dog shit names that just their business model sucks and they have no cash, I think those are going to continue to die. But at the end of the day, if you want to take some leap options because you think growth is going to make this strong comeback, or you think everything eventually squeezes, I'm okay with that. Just one, expect to lose it, and two, give yourself the time.
Put it in another account.
Put in another account and just buy next January. Hell, if they have them, buy 2024 leaps. They'll be expensive, but fuck it. Give yourself that time, because if they do go 100%, those options or whatever will go 200%. Because at the end of the day, you're probably gonna get smoked.
January and you buy them only 50% up, and they go, ooh, that would be a lot more than 100% big dog.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Well, I was talking about the 2024, but yeah, no, I mean,
did you say 2024?
Yeah, bro, give yourself time.
2 years?
Yeah, screw it. I got some MSOS calls.
I may be
2024.
Dead. I'll probably forget the login if I put him in another account by 2024.
Good, bro. Maybe you'll be rich as hell.
Was it NASCAR 69 or was it 69 NASCARs?
Who was I dating at that time?
28.
Yeah. Who was the concierge name in my building?
Yeah, yeah. It was question, what was your sister's maiden name? I'm fuck, I don't even have one.
She's been married twice. Yeah. So that's what I would do. I personally would give yourself time. I don't hate that. I love trading shit like that. But just give yourself some time.
All right, next question. For traders like myself that have a full-time job, I can't look at candle charts all day for 10 different stocks. Concentrate on one or two, or do my DD at night, or what do y'all think? So I guess that's depends on the market. I mean, depends on the market.
Yeah.
Depends on what kind of trader you're trying to be. Obviously, if you can't look at a bunch of different candlesticks all day, it sounds like you can at least look at maybe your one or two candlesticks all day. And there is not any issue with just trading one stock. You know, if you can make money trading one and two stocks, we know people that do it trading Tesla every day.
Yeah. This is totally loaded. If you live on the West Coast, I would just wake up early and trade, find like one or two good trades off open and then go about your workday. If you're on the East Coast, this totally depends on your trading strategy. If you're a swing trader, obviously things like that haven't been working, but large caps have, like a firm, like that got cut in half. That's starting to trend up. Like there's so many different things out there that you can swing and you can trade. Now, like you're not going to knock it out of the park, but there's tons of stuff that you can trade right now. If you're a swing trader, yes, I like the doing DD at night. The other thing is that you're gonna have to pick your spots. You're gonna have to pick your spots for where you're buying. And if you're a day trader, then that's gonna be one of those things where like if you don't have an hour or two, like you need to like not day trade. Like I said, it's easier on the West Coast because you can wake up early. The East Coast is a little bit difficult. Maybe if you work from home, it's easier. Or it's one of those things where you get one strategy down to a T day trading. And it's one of those things where, you set up a scanner.
You gonna eat for life.
You set up that scanner, and when that scanner for that strategy specifically sets up, you buy it there, you set your stop loss, you set your take profit, and you let it ride. And at the end of the day, if you manage your risk with your stop loss, honestly, that's probably what most people should do, is that they should set a plan with their strategy and just let it ride. And because that's going to take the emotions out of it. If you have a 60, 70% win rate, you're going to be green as long as you keep that win rate. And that's what you should do. Just manage your risk, set the plan, and then let it go. That's personally what I would do. If you don't have any time to look at the charts and stuff, and then just be super keep your stop losses close, buy on support, and do it that way. That's the way that I would do it. And all this comes down to like, if you're saying like, Hugh, like I can't just like turn off my screen, like I need to be watching it, then you're over risking. Now, all that tells me is that you're over risking. Don't over risk. Take 1% of your account inside the trade, so that even if that thing goes to zero, you only lost 1% of your account, because that's where you get yourself into trouble, in my opinion.
All right, last one from our friend Neo, the Desert Wolf. Why, and this is a good mentality question, why don't I stop after a great day and proceed to give back profits? I think a lot of people do this, and do you think it's just like a greed thing, or do you think it's just I used to be able to make 10K in a day, I'm at 5K, it's only 10 a.m., I can definitely go back to my 10K days, even though the market's not for it. What do you think it's for? I mean, I feel the same way. I mean, if I'm hot, I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna stay hot, even though, history says that I'm probably gonna cool off.
So when you proceed to give back a good day, one thing that I want to remind everyone is that past performance does not indicate future results. Okay, write that down, because the last 16 months have
Gandhi.
Yeah, son, that's what they be calling me, Gone Henny. So write that down, because if you would take, my performance from, let's call it like 2015 to 2018. Okay. I had good years, but they weren't, I didn't have my first like 7-figure year until 2019. Okay. So if I were going to take it purely based on those years, then I would expect to obviously not do $1 million. Now, if I would take, all the years I do, good amount, then I would expect to do it the next year. So if I only make half of what I made the previous year, I'm I'm going to think that that's a failure. And the thing about trading is that you're not failing. Like, you're truly not failing. It's like when my mom used to say, you're not stupid. You're only stupid if you do something wrong and you're corrected on it and then you do it again. That's the definition of stupidity. I'm totally messing that up, but it's something along those lines. So, yeah, I know. Don't say anything. So when you're up on a good day, the way that I would handle it is that I would take your last month's results. Okay, I wouldn't take anything else. So if you were used to making 10, 15 grand a day last year and the year prior, take what you've made inside the last month and make that your daily goal. Once you hit that daily goal, or make it $50 more, or make it 5% more, whatever you want, then you should size down so much. I mean, like, if your usual position size is like $5,000, make it $1,500. Okay, everything that you make after that is going to be gravy money. The other thing that I think that you should do is that you should start to track your trades really well. I know we talked about this a few times, but one thing that I always found was, like, when I looked at where my trading went wrong, I found that it actually had to do more with the time of day that I traded than the actual trades that I took. So I just noticed that I would get chopped up from like 12 to 2 every day. Like, literally every day. It doesn't matter what I traded, I would just get chopped up. So I sit on hands from 12 to 2. I think that that's one thing that, like, would help a lot of people. And the psychology behind that is that, maybe you're up $500, okay? And then 12 o'clock rolls around, and maybe 12 o'clock rolls around, and now you take a position because it's back to where you were, and maybe it goes down a little bit more. Well, now you're only up $400, and now you're thinking to yourself, well, shit, I don't want to lose my day. Or you're thinking to yourself the other way, and you're like, oh man, like, now I got to average down. So then you average down, now you're only up $250, and then now you start to force things because now you start to panic. So the way that I like to handle is that find out where your mistakes are, where your most unprofitable trades are, especially if you're a day trader. Then take that information and be useful with it. So if you get chopped up from 12 to 2, don't trade then. And then for everybody else, when you hit your daily goal, which again, use it as what's the average P&L for the last 30 trading days. Okay? And then make that your goal, and then size down. I'm not talking like size down to half. I'm talking size down to a third maximum. Okay. And that's what your daily goal should be. And then size it down to a third and just, let things ride. And those are the times where, you can add a little bit and take anything that you make on top of that as gravy money. Don't make it look like, oh, it's just $50. Wire that $50 out and go buy your mom flowers. Go buy your chick flowers. Like that's what I like to look at that stuff as, like, oh, hey, an extra $100, like that adds up if you do that every day. And also, again, is that those smaller sizes give you the ability to let plays work more and let those strategies work so that you can see, hey, is this working or is this not working? So you're not just thinking about the money side of things. That's the way that I would handle it.
All right. I think that should cover this one. So I hope you guys enjoy. We have a lot more questions to finish up. I think Sunday's going to be a Q&A episode, as I'm going to be on traveling either one place or another, depending on what happens. And take care. Love you. Bye.
Pennies Going in Raw is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.